Hey guys, it's MeAdmiralStarks back with another video, and today we're gonna be looking at some of the hypothetical lineups for each rank that you might end up playing. What gun combinations you're going to be playing, what tank and plane combinations you're going to be playing to remain within each of the 5 ranks. Obviously this is hypothetical. I'm not entirely sure if the Tech 3 is going to remain as it is right now, so things can still change. So today we're going to be looking at some of the US possible lineups could potentially play if you want to stay within each of the ranks. So here in the rank 1 you can see all of these weapons right here. These are the, well, I'm going to call these tiers because they're actually tiers. Tier 1 weapons. So weapons, planes, tanks, whatever, yada, yada, yada. So this is a screenshot from like one of the very first dev servers, but I've compared them and it looked like it was the same in the second one as well, so we're just gonna go off this one. So for your guns and rifles and things like that, you'll be running for your rifleman squads. I would at least imagine you'll be running around with some Springfields and Enfield P14s, probably for your radio man and engineer squads as well. I would probably choose, I don't know, the Enfield probably. I think it's a decent gun. If you do like to take out some sniper squads, then you have choice between the 1903A1 and 1903A2, which I believe that's probably just like a later version and probably has a better hit power or something like that. I'm not the one to take out the sniper squad, so with these guys you can pretty much equip your radio, engineering squad, sniper squad, and then I really like Sten. I really like the M3, so basically what's your preference? Probably would skip the Reising. I don't know, I just don't play Pacific too much, so I'm not really familiar with that weapon too much. So there's already like 3 or 4 squads you can equip with these weapons, and then if you do want to bring out some of the, I'm gonna call these a specialist squads, like anti-tank, mortarman, flamethrower squads and things like that. In rank 1 your opportunities, your chances are very narrow here, so you're either bringing a 2-inch mortar or you're bringing the boys ATR, which I guess is fairly enough for tier 1 vehicles. This thing will pen and do some damage, depending if you really want to bring it out. Out of the tanks, I would probably just stick around with the M8 Scott. There is a foldered option of the M5A1 below the M8 Scott, but just because of the bigger firepower, I would just probably stick with the M8 Scott. And if you do have premium account and you can bring out tank and plane at the same time, out of these, if you feel like shooting down planes, then probably a Hurricane Mark IIB is gonna be a better option. If you want to do some ground pounding as well, then probably the F2A3 Buffalo would be better. I've never played it, but I'm pretty sure it has some ordnance underneath, so it can deal some damage on the ground, not only in the sky. Make sure if you want to strictly remain into tier 1 and you only want to be in a worst case scenario up tier to tier 2, these are like the only things you can bring out as a tier 1 lineup. So just take your pick, make up your lineup, and you can actually comment down below what would you bring out for your tier 1 lineup out of all of these. And now we're going to be moving on to tier 2. In tier 2 you will see there are quite a bit more weapons, at least for USI side, a bit more variety with some LMGs, heavier machine guns, a motorcycle squad, some shotguns and things like that. Some variety in the aircraft department as well, but not so much to choose from in terms of tanks. So let's see what we have up here for your engineers and radio men. Probably some semi-auto rifles from up here, or you can just go ahead and have your assault squads equipped either with a shotguns, or if you prefer shotguns and close range maps, Owen Mark 1. I have not tried it. I've seen people play it. People usually say it's good. M3A1, always sturdy and reliable. You can't go wrong with that for your assault squads. And if you do want to bring out some machine gunner squads, then you have the Vickers and Bren Mark 1, which you can see I haven't played because I don't have it unlocked. Well, bear in mind, if you're not happy with any of these choices in rank 2, for example M1 Bazooka or PIAT or the motorcycle squad, you can always revert back and take something from tier 1 that is definitely not gonna up tier you even higher. You can always choose some of your favorite additions from one tier below easily, no problem. Just make sure you don't choose anything from one tier above, because that if you take anything from tier 3, like if you take all tier 2 and you bring Sherman 2, for example, which is here already in tier 3, because of this tank you will have then chance of being up tiered even to tier 4, so that's not something you want to do. If I look at these tanks and I see Crusader and Mark 1 Grunt, personally myself, I would probably revert back to Scott and just still keep going on with the Scott even in tier 2. For aircraft, again, it really depends what you want to do. I've always wanted to try Spitfire, which you can see I haven't. If you want to go for absolute nuke ground pounding, then you have Dauntless as an option. P-38 is a good all-round fighter, striker aircraft, and the FP-3 I haven't played, but I'm pretty sure it has some sort of ordnance again underneath this thing. So yeah, if you want to stick around only to rank 2, all of these, plus you can take some of your favorites from rank 1 as well. As I said, for the tank I would probably still go ahead and take the M8 even in tier 2. So yeah, let me know down in the comments what would be your ideal tier 2 USA lineup if you want to strictly stay in tier 2. Tier 3 on the US side is the first tier that introduces you some rifles with grenade throwers, launchers, some flamethrowers, some more serious guns on the tanks, and even a little bit armor on them, as well as very capable fighters and a bit of like a heavy bomber type. And oh, by the way, we are completely excluding the premium accounts out of this. We're just talking about what we have straight from the the tech tree itself. M9 bazooka, absolutely great AT weapon. I would probably look into bringing in the flamethrower. It says M1 flamethrower. I'm wondering, M2 is here, so I'm not entirely sure what's folded under this one. Apparently there's something there, but I really don't know. Again, here for the machine guns, if you feel like some of the previous ones you would feel more comfortable, then you can just skip the Lancaster. How do you pronounce that properly? I've really never known. And for some of the LMGs, you have some of the big boys already. Not the biggest ones though, I believe, but these ones are pretty good. Tank wise, again, you have the Sherman 2 and the M4A2. I haven't played the Sherman 2, but the basic M4A2 Sherman was really good. Helped me out a lot grinding the Allied Normandy campaign, which was really cool. Personally myself, not a big sniping fan, so I would probably just leave this guy alone. However, yeah, I don't know if I like this SMG. I really enjoy playing it. For some reason, I really don't know. And again, depending on your mood, a P51C10 is something you can't really go wrong with as a fighter. If you want to do some ground pounding, it does have some ordnance, but they're pretty poor, so probably the Bullfighter Mark 10 or AP. I'm not entirely sure if this thing has any, maybe has a drop tank, I don't know. I'm really not familiar with the Pacific lineup vehicles because I barely play it. But yeah, again, you can see there are some empty gaps here and there, so if you feel like you need to fill in some of these and you don't want to be excessively up tier to rank 4 or 5, you can probably fill in some of these gaps from some of the weapons from the tier 2. That would be probably a safer bet. Let me know in the comments below, what would you bring out if you wanted to make only tier 3 lineup out of all this you can see here, and probably some of the tier 2 weapons as well. Welcome to tier 4, and this is definitely where some of the more serious weaponry is gonna show up finally for the US tech tree. In terms of tanks, you have large variety of the M4A3 105, absolute HE spitting monster, the powerful M10 gun with not so great armor, the mighty Jumbo, which everyone likes and loves and adores, and the M4A1 76W Sherman, which is kind of a top tier-ish tank for US. That's why it's so high up in the tier 4. In terms of weaponry, you have a lot of stuff here for your assault tier squads, which are a lot of Thompsons. Probably most of the people would divert to the last one, I would assume. And I've seen people playing the Johnson M1941 as well, as I guess it's a semi, so you can equip it with, I don't know, your, again, radio, engineering squads and things like that. You have the Johnson LMG, but you still can't really reach the Brownings, which are going to be in tier 5. M2 flamethrower with slightly larger reach with the with how far the flames actually reach. And the M2 mortar, I believe, is just a higher caliber mortar than we had in previous tiers. Again, if I'd have to put together a lineup, I would probably go with, I'm not entirely sure what, there's probably a different P38 variant underneath here. I would probably go with the P38 that has the M8 rockets. I hope it's folded under here. Again, if you have a premium account, you can bring out plane and tank. My tank choice here would probably be, if I want to fight actual armor, then the 76W probably is a better bet than Jumbo, but Jumbo can take some hits, has mighty HE shell. And I'd really like to test out the D105 because I've never played it. Flamethrower squad is a must. It's terrible to play against a team that has flamethrowers, so rather, instead of, if you can't beat them, join them logic. I've never played the Johnson LMG either. Probably fans of those. There's plenty of in the game. Thompsons are very famous. I can't stand their iron sight. I can't usually say where I'm aiming at when I'm aiming down the sight, but you know, fast firing, dangerous weapons, and again some sniper weapons that I probably never ever gonna use. And we have the M1 Garand with grenade launcher as well here, and some of the semis for your radio, engineer squads, and so on. So yeah, make sure you let me know down in the comments what lineup would you make out of these tier 4 vehicles, and if you're not satisfied with any of these weapons and you want to fill in any of these gaps and you want to swap out some tanks and planes with some of the tier 3, that's totally fine. Although when I think about it, well, if you pick something from tier 5, because you're going to be playing tier 5 regardless, I suppose you can pick something from tier 5. It really does not matter that much. However, if you stay strictly in tier 4 and take something from tier 3, then you can still get into those games where the tier 3 players are up tiered to tier 4, so you can kind of be on top and get away from the tier 5, hopefully. But yeah, as soon as you pick something from tier 5, then you're definitely down the rabbit hole with all the big boys. And as soon as you reach tier 5 on the US Tech 3, you can just see an instant drop of weaponry. You're not going to see this on German Tech 3, because German Tech 3 is currently, I believe, one of the most complete ones, and potentially even Soviets have slightly more in terms of weaponry. However, allies are, well, allies, when I say I mean USA is very complete in terms of tank firing power and all that stuff, variety of the tanks, and they have quite a lot of planes. Although the only one is the absolute cancer of plane that everyone loves or hates is the P-47 D-28, which is the only vehicle rated for the tier 5, so obviously that would probably be the choice of the weapon. The M18 fast boy, no armor, deadly gun, which is pretty cool as well, and the long barrel M4A276W, which is the actual top tank for the USA, which again is okay, but the armor isn't the greatest. For your assault tier squads, if you want to go exclusively tier 5, you only have the Thompson with the drum mag, which I believe is the 100 round that the paratroopers get, and the famous M2 carbine. I believe it's this one that everyone praises and loves insanely. You can clearly see that if you want to fill in some of the gaps, if you want some mortars, if you want some anti-tank weapons, if you want some flamethrowers, if you want more variety in terms of machine guns or sniper rifles or things like that, then you will probably have to substitute from lower tiers, but it's totally fine because you're a tier 5 anyway, and you'll be versing tier 4 exclusively, so there's nothing to fear of versing anyone higher. And again, if you're not okay with P-47, there's plenty of planes down the line that you can choose from. Again, if you wanna, if you prefer any of like the jumbo or whatnot, instead of these guys, you can substitute that in your tier 5 lineup. But I think there's really not much of a point trying to distinguish tier 4 to tier 5, because you'll be playing together for most of the time anyways, as ranks, as far as ranks go. However, if you exclusively take tier 4 or below, then you still have those wild card games that the tier 3 might pull you down a little bit, which could be quite good if you get slightly cheaper and easier lineups against you, I guess. So yeah, make sure you let me know down in the comments below what would you grab as a lineup if you would have to put together a lineup for tier 5 USA with these weapons, with these guns, and obviously filling in the blanks from some of the previous tiers, because there are quite a few different classes that don't exist here in tier 5. As I said, mortar, flame, AT, things like that, they are nowhere to be seen here. So yeah, make sure you let me know down in the comments below your favorite lineups. Do you think this is okay? You think some of the weapons are too high, some of the weapons are too low? And all in all, what do you think about this? And yeah, guys, I will see you in probably the next video, the same type of video for the USSR and Germany. Not sure if I'm gonna make one on Japan, because I really have very limited knowledge about Japanese Tech 3. So yeah, we might just skip that altogether. Thank you so much for watching. It's been MeAdmiralStarks. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.